Mexican authorities pursuing their case against an American suspected of killing an acquaintance at a luxury resort. They're looking to extradite the suspect to face charges. ABC's Zareen Shaw joins us with more as that woman still hasn't been named. Zareen, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Janae. A 25-year-old went down to Mexico with some friends to celebrate someone's birthday. And just one day into that vacation, she turned up dead. And now officials have another big problem on their hands. Their prime suspect is no longer in the country. This morning, a potential legal limbo as Mexican prosecutors seek to extradite an acquaintance of Shanquella Robinson, the North Carolina woman found dead while vacationing in Mexico. Authorities are not currently naming her, but say she is a direct aggressor against the 25-year-old after a video online, too violent to show, reveals Robinson assaulted in her hotel room. Mexican authorities issuing an arrest warrant for that acquaintance, now back in America, for the crime of femicide, the act of killing a woman based on her gender.
On the one hand, the U.S. government is going to take this seriously, and on the other hand, it's not obligated to turn her over.
On October 29th, local police reports state that a Baja Resort town guest told medical staff around 2 in the afternoon that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol, a doctor determining she was stable but dehydrated. Adding Robinson's acquaintances refused to send her to the hospital. The police report stating the Charlotte native went into cardiac arrest, declared dead by 6 p.m. But an autopsy differing from that report, stating medical officials arrived before 3 p.m., quickly declaring Robinson dead from severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck. Robinson's family wants answers.
I'm just waiting on that day when someone can be arrested. That's all I'm waiting on.
As for those contradictions, Dan Abrams tells us that can happen when you have different officials looking into the same case, but that can be problematic for prosecutors. Janae?
Still so many unanswered questions. Zareen, thank you.
Hey y'all, what's up? JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another conversation about Miss Shanquella Robinson. Yes, we are still fighting for justice for Miss Shanquella Robinson. We do understand that an arrest warrant was put out last week, but nobody has been arrested from my understanding. There are a lot of conversations that's been going on, right, where people are believing that someone has been arrested, somebody's been detained, and we'll find out about the details soon. I don't think that's true. Okay. I don't think that anybody has been arrested, but I do understand why a lot of people are believing that could be the case. And that came from this quick snippet from the ABC. Okay. The ABC News Channel. Let me go ahead and put that up on the screen because I want you guys to just go ahead and just listen to this quick clip here. Let's see. And they're going to kind of allude to someone being arrested. So just check this out.
An arrest warrant has been issued in the death of a North Carolina woman killed while vacationing in Mexico. An autopsy report showing Shanquella Robinson died of a broken neck and spine. Authorities have arrested a friend of Robinson's who was also on that trip. The U.S. State Department and FBI have also been involved in investigating this case. An arrest warrant has been issued in the death of a North Carolina woman killed while vacationing in Mexico. An autopsy report showing Shanquella Robinson died of a broken neck and spine. Authorities have arrested a friend of Robinson.
That part right there. Authorities have arrested a friend of Robinson. Authorities have arrested a friend of Robinson. If you even look at the clip, they're saying right there, new this morning, arrest made in death of Charlotte woman vacationing in Mexico. Now, for me, I do not believe that this is true. I feel like we're still waiting to get more details, maybe because it's now an international case, I guess you could say, as far as Mexico versus the people leaving Mexico, and now they're here in the United States. Maybe that's why they're trying to keep things so, nip tuck tight, and we don't know a lot about it. I'm thinking I guess it could be possible, considering the fact that they won't even tell us who the person's name was that's listed in the arrest warrant. So, I mean, it's really up in the air. I mean, it could be that, yes, the person is arrested and we just don't know about the details yet. But then I strongly feel like that's not true, because if you did have this person under arrest, because so many people have been talking about this case, and it's now like worldwide at this point, I would think that you want to hurry up and let us know that information, and not just by way of one news outlet, but by way of many news outlets letting us know, hey, the person has been detained, okay? And I will also believe that we will have more documents to follow so that we will be able to verify said information with this person being in custody, okay? So if you ask me, I mean, that's where I believe a lot of the people are getting the information from as to why they believe that somebody has been arrested, but nobody else is reporting on it. So it's kind of making me think that it may not be true, okay? So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. I did come across a video where they were saying that the police took $17,000 from Shanquella. I'm still confused about that because I'm also hearing that the friends took 5,000, then I'm hearing it was 6,000, then I'm hearing it was 10,000 that the friends took from Shanquella, and I don't know what to believe. I feel like it's so many different stories that's being thrown out here that I honestly don't know what to believe. I feel like if they stole the money from Shanquella, meaning the friends, why would y'all sit up there and ask her mom for it or her dad or whoever for additional money just to get her to the hospital or something? So it was a bit confusing. And then I also started to question, like, did y'all take the money as in, y'all, she probably put everybody's money on her card, she booked the room or whatever, you guys had to leave the trip early and they likely refunded y'all the money or something, but then I would think it would go back to her card. So it's just a lot of confusion going on. So I don't even know what to be true. Now the 17,000, we are hearing that this came directly from Gerardo Zuniga, and he's one of the reporters that's been giving us a lot of information. He also interviewed with the lead attorney, and I'm going to get into what he kind of talked about over there at the lead attorney. But I will say this, I don't know if I'm going to take that with a grain of salt as far as the police taking $17,000. I do understand that a lot of individuals believe that there's a ton of corruption that's taking place over there in Mexico. I believe it. I got that. I understand that. Okay, I've been hearing that for years. But as far as the 17,000, I don't know. I don't put nothing past nobody, but at the same time, I mean, is there any way that we can truly like confirm that this has happened? Because when I listened to his conversation with the lead attorney, some things he said that, like, some of the things he reported on seemed like he got it by way of just what other people were saying. And not trying to discredit him, but some things definitely kind of raised an eyebrow for me. But other stuff is like, okay, he's probably on point with that, right? So I mean, I just don't know, but we are going to get into it. But before we get into that, I actually wanted to get into this news story where they kind of talked about how this situation can go. Okay, it's being reported on CNN, and they said that there's two ways Shanquella Robinson's investigation can go. So I want to go ahead and see if we could play that real quick. Give me 1 second. See if I could share that over here to the screen with you guys, and we can check that out. Not sure if there's a commercial or not. If there is, we'll just mute it for the time being.
CNN this morning.
Are you going to extend the debt?
Okay, yeah, we'll just mute it for a few seconds because it'll be coming in soon. Because I want to hear how they feel that this particular investigation can go. What two ways are they referring to? So I wanted to share that with you.
How does the extradition process, or how would it work between the U.S. and Mexico? Do the two countries cooperate on cases like this?
Yes, they do, Jim. Good morning to you. So I think there's two ways this can play out. We know that Mexican authorities now are looking, and with regard to the arrest warrant for the extradition, that is to have the party or parties brought back to Mexico to be held accountable. And if they do that, I think what you'll see is the Department of Justice involved. We have an Office of International Affairs. We have a robust extradition proceeding, and we have actually a treaty with Mexico that's been in existence for some 45 years. And so there is cooperation. So on the one hand, you could see Mexico engage in the prosecution. On the other, we certainly have a statute in the United States that would provide for our government to be involved and the federal government to prosecute a foreign national, right? What happens is, just to be clear in terms of that statement, in the event that you go overseas and an American citizen is ultimately killed by another American citizen, there's a statute that could provide for the prosecution to take place in this country. So we'll see which way it plays out ultimately.
Given the timeline here, a number of weeks since this took place, I mean, the role of folks on the internet kind of keeping this story alive, et cetera. I mean, did Mexican authorities drop the ball in the initial stages of this? And could that affect the future of the investigation?
So it certainly could, because with any investigation and with any crime scene, you want to preserve it, right? At the end of the day, you have to know and understand that the evidence that you have is gathered appropriately, that the crime scene would not otherwise be contaminated, that the autopsy was done properly. And so, yes, there could be some challenges there. Having said that, with the FBI involved now, I'm sure that they'll undertake an investigation, which is quite significant. They will be working with Mexican authorities. They will be all over the area where it occurred to try to get answers. So no investigation is without flaws, Jim, but ultimately, I think justice could be served here if the investigation to this point, knowing what they know, is done properly.
Well, let us hope and pray that everything is done properly, okay? There were a lot of speculation about whether or not the case can be tried here in America or over there in Mexico. So it seems like it can go either way, which is likely why FBI out of Charlotte is, performing their own investigation into Shanquella's death. So it seems like to me, these individuals or that individual, or, of course, we would like to see all of them, held accountable for lack thereof support or whatever when it came down to the situation with Shanquella. But the direct aggressor, like either that one individual who a lot of people are believing is a woman. I've heard news reports mention that it is a woman. They've been saying she and woman and things like that. So it's likely a woman. Okay. So regardless, they're going to have to face something. Okay. You either gonna get it over here on American soil, or you're gonna have to take yourself over there to Mexico. You might want to get it where you live. All right. You might want to try and get it where you live, because if you go over there, it's going to be very, very interesting. Okay. It's going to be very much so of a struggle. Okay. Not that we really care, to be quite honest with you, but it seems like you're going to get it one way or the other. The Mexican people are after you, and it seems like the FBI is doing their own investigation. And based on what this man is saying, you can likely be tried here in America because it was an American on American type of crime. Okay, so we'll learn more details. I'm hoping more details come out very soon, and I definitely hope that an arrest is made within the coming week. My fingers are crossed, and I would love to see that take place. Another thing I wanted to get into was the lead attorney's interview. He did a pretty good interview with Gerardo Zuniga, and I hope I said that correctly. This is the person that was able to obtain like police records and things like that. He speaks fully in Spanish, so for a lot of people that do not understand that, the lead attorney is actually bilingual, so he's able to convert that over and translate that to us and let us know exactly what it is that he said. So I just took down a few things. Okay, so he confirmed that there is actually a second video. Okay, he confirmed that there is a second video of Shanquella being assaulted. He gave details about what happened in that video. And when the lead attorney asked him, like, how did you get this information? He says that he got it from the police officers, right? The information was the video was described to him by the police officers. They told him what all was in the video. And then he went on to say that when it comes to like police reports, certain information he gets directly from the police officers. Now, for me, I want to hear you guys' thoughts and comments down below. For me, I don't know. I'm sure there is a second video, but what's on that second video? I haven't seen it to confirm. I would like to see it to confirm what he's saying, because when you say that the police are the ones that told you what all is happening on the video, it kind of makes me question just a little bit, considering the fact that they also were a part of writing up a documentation, the police report, that was completely opposite to what the autopsy said. So that right there kind of got me like, I'm believing there's a second video. Truly believe that. I said that from the beginning. However, what's on the video, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see on the video. I would like to see it to confirm exactly what it is that he's saying, especially since, like I said, they falsify documents. So then Gerardo, he spoke on how when it comes to the journalists in that area, they get harassed when they cover like large stories like this, big stories like this, and they really call out the corruption amongst, the government or the police or whatever. He talked about how they get harassed, violated, sometimes unalived when they're reporting on like the Mexican government and their corruption. So he went out on a limb to actually be so vocal, because I'm understanding that he's in contact with not just the lead attorney, I believe Chronicle Speaks, and other individuals where he's being very vocal. So he's really putting himself out there. all right, to share details that we likely are not supposed to know yet, okay? But let's keep going. He also spoke on a red file process, okay? And he said that this process is the process of, it sounded like to me the things that they do when they get everything prepared for an arrest warrant, basically. He says they're getting the detention, he says they're getting the arrest order, and he also said they're getting documents that they're preparing to send over to Interpol. And Interpol, which I believe is like a liaison between, you know, Mexico and any other country where they need to extradite somebody back, you know, for whatever crime, the Interpol will be the ones to detain the person that's responsible for this attack on Miss Shanquella. Now, he also explained both the police report and the autopsy report. He says the police report received info that she was beaten, and the call was made by Donovan, which is Winter Donovan. Now, I question that. I'm gonna be very honest with you, because from what I heard, the call was alcohol poisoning, and that just makes so much sense to me versus them receiving a call saying that she was beaten. That didn't sound right to me, because I'm like, they've been going on with the whole story of her having alcohol poisoning. Why would they say that she was beaten? And if that was the case, then why would they? And maybe that was just poor translation or something, but why would they get a call about her being beaten and then show up and they don't even make any notes about the physical bruises that were seen on her body? Like, it's not adding up, okay? What else? He highlighted that after she was attacked, she passed away after 15 minutes. And that's really coming from the autopsy, where they said that she, you know, died at this particular time. I think it could have been like 3 o'clock or 3:15, somewhere up in there. And the death occurred 15 minutes after she was already attacked, right? So he also talked about the conflict. The conflict came in because it was the time that the doctor actually arrived. Remember, I went into that report earlier and they talked about how a call was made at 2:15, and then the doctor finally arrived there at 3:15. Yeah, conflict. That's not making sense. If the coroner is saying like, hey, this girl died at like 3 o'clock or so. So you mean to tell me if that is indeed the case, that she died at 3, then the doctor arrived there knowing this young lady was dead and you were still trying to administer some type of IV or something? So that's a little sketch badge. That's sketchy, which is why he's saying that the doctor is being investigated, because the details aren't adding up. Okay. Good. Everybody needs to be investigated. Everybody needs to be investigated. Okay. He says that the doctor noted that Shanquella died hours later. So you arrived at 3:15, then she died hours later. So that's not making any sense. Like, are you trying to cover up for somebody? And if so, who is you trying to cover up for? It's not making sense. Okay. He also stated that her friends were there when the officers arrived and were allowed to leave. And now the doctor and the police are under investigation. Okay, so I don't know if they really thought that the girl had alcohol poisoning. We hate this happened, and then just sent them on their way, only to find out that it was deeper than that, because she had internal things going on that I guess was not known on the outside, that she had a cracked spine and a broken neck. But at the end of the day, didn't you see bruises on her face? Because I'm having a hard time. If the dad saw the bruises, and from the photos and things that was sent to him, her mom saw them, then how is it that the doctor can go into this room and just act like you don't see anything, but you're over here trying to give her an IV? And then I don't even know if I even believe the story of you telling the friends, hey, she needs to go to the doctor. She needs to go to the hospital. And then the friends say, oh no, she needs to be treated here. See, that's the only thing that makes me want to believe that part, is because the friends didn't want her to go to the hospital. They wanted her to be treated in a room. Like, that kind of does make a bit of sense to me. And the reason why I say that is because so many people stood around and watched this girl be attacked, and nobody stood up or stepped up or got in the middle of it or anything, even though it did appear that Gerardo Zuniga was trying to say that somebody did try to break up the fight. But I need to see that on camera, because I need to see that on camera. Okay. Because what was shown to me, it wasn't giving that. Okay. It was giving, Shanquella, can you at least fight back? Like, that's what it was giving. It wasn't giving nobody trying to break up or do anything like that. All right. So he says, if the doctor and the police lied to protect the image of tourists and the image of their entire, like, you know, tourist area or their tourist image itself, then that could land them into some big trouble, because then it would be considered a cover up. So they are now being investigated as well, according to Mr. Gerardo. All right. What else did he say? He says that the question was asked about whether he knew whose name is on that arrest warrant. And he says that they do not know whose name is on that arrest warrant. He doesn't know. But once it gets to Interpol, he says that then they'll get access to the documents and everything. They'll know everything at that point. Who the person is, when they were extradited, when they are expected to arrive, and everything. But I'm wondering, because I feel like y'all are trying to keep a lot of stuff close to your vest as well, just a little bit, because I am kind of like, drop the name, but then at the same time, don't drop the name, because I want everybody to squirm. I want people to wonder and worry, who are they coming for? Are they coming for this person? Like, are they coming for me? Like, we don't know. But I guess the guys are in the clear, because we're hearing more outlets report on it actually being a woman. They said this was not a quarrel. This was a direct aggression. This was a direct attack on this young lady. And the only person that we were able to see directly attack this young woman was Dejanay Jackson. So we don't know for a fact if it's going to be her that's going to be arrested. We do not know. We don't know. But that's how it's kind of looking. Okay. That's how it's, I'm just telling you what it looked like. I ain't saying what it is. I'm just telling you what it kind of looked like to me. Okay. And I do feel like what they're going to do, they're going to get her in there and they're going to get her to squeal. And the reason I say that is because the question was also asked, can she pretty much turn on the other people? Can she do something to get her a lesser sentence? And according to Mr. Gerardo, like, yes, she can. Just like you likely can here in America, she will be able to do the same thing. So once they get her in there, if she's willing to flip on the other people, then she could likely get a lesser sentence. Now, speaking on sentence, there was conversation about femicide and homicide. All right. Now, homicide, we do a lot of talk about that here in America. That's like a big major thing. A lot of people didn't even know about femicide. A lot of people, we don't really talk about that, like crimes done against, women. I feel like America doesn't, they just really, it doesn't matter if it was a crime against a woman or a man, it's homicide, whatever, we're going to move forward. Okay. So that's how they kind of view it. But over there in Mexico, it's very different. Like, if you are committed of a crime, fighting or whatever, and it results in death, like that homicide, you only get like a decade and 2 years. Like, you only get like 12 years, if that, right? Just for that. Oh, it's just death. But if it is a femicide and it's crime against a woman, and I've always understood femicide to be like a crime against a woman from a man. But typically when I've heard about it, that's always been the case. It was men harming women, but that's not necessarily the case, because in Mexico, they're saying that it could be a crime against a woman, whether it came from a man or a woman, which is why they're going for femicide, because now we know that femicide holds more weight, okay, over there in Mexico. So from what I've looked up, it looks like you can be in prison from anywhere from 45 to 65 years. So a lot of us were like, what? Femicide? No, that's because we didn't have a full understanding of that, and we didn't know how it worked over there in Mexico. We like, nah, we want y'all to go for more than that, okay? And they're going for more than that, okay? Not homicide, which is 12 years, but femicide, which is anywhere from 45 to 65 years, is how long that person can likely be locked up. So if this young lady is facing 65 years or even 45, she probably gonna be like, I feel like, let's say somebody, I don't know, a lot of people are saying Nazir is in the clear, right? Because he did not arrive at the same time as the other individuals. Okay. So he kind of got there during the aftermath. But if the Mexico government, if they're trying to press her on every single person that was in that villa, and she decides to say, hey, yeah, he has something to do with it, or he this and that, in an effort to get her a lesser sentence, like, that's going to suck for him. If he truly had nothing to do with it, even though some parts of his story is questionable, that's going to suffer him. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever the person is comes in, gets questioned, and decided to flip or even add a little sauce to whatever story, so that they can, end up with a lesser sentence. I won't be surprised. But, some part of me, I hate to say that's what you get, but that's what happens, okay? Based on the company that you keep, that's what happens, right? So that's pretty much that, and everything that was talked about over there that I captured from the lead attorney. If y'all want to watch the interview in its entirety, I'm not sure if the interview is on his page, but I do know that he has the entire video of him translating. So if you would like to see that, you can go over to his channel and check that out. But also I came across a document. Let me go ahead. Oh, you know what? Before I go to this document, it was a press release that was released by Mexico on Thanksgiving, and we're going to get into that. But before I get into that, I actually have a clip, okay? And I captured this over on TikTok, and it's the lead attorney speaking with a nurse regarding Shanquella's injuries that led to her death. So I want to add that to the screen, and I want us to check that out. So let's get into it.
Years of nursing
Yes.
experience.
Right.
Damn.
The reason I'm saying this,
Let me pause this and go back and make sure that I can read this to you guys. Just the top part, okay? Just the top part where it says, nurse with 30 years of ER and spinal experience says Shanquella was paralyzed and could not breathe with respirator, okay? So let's go ahead and press play on that.
30 years of nursing
Yes.
experience.
Right.
Damn.
the reason I'm saying this is because I spent a lot of years working with spinal cord injury patients. And depending on how high the injury to your spinal cord is, if you can breathe or not. So you're not gasping for air, your lungs are, you're not moving. So I used to work with patients on ventilators, and occasionally it would pop off if they have a spasm, right? The ventilator would pop off. Their body is not going to move because they need the ventilator to move. If you have an injury up here, you're not breathing. So it's impossible for the doctors to have come there and made any assessment. She wouldn't have had no signs of life. When she fell, if you look at the video, you can see when the back was broken, because it's a certain way a paralyzed body can lay. If your body is not paralyzed, there's certain positions you just can't naturally go in. When she first was slung over and she sat up like that, that was just, her neck was broke at that time. And that's why you can tell the people that's in there knew something was wrong, because they were like, get up, like demanding for her to get up, because they knew she couldn't. She looked different.
Interesting. Sorry, guys. Interesting. So I want to know what y'all think about this. And there's more to it, and I'm going to play that. But for me, when I watched the video and Shanquella was being attacked, I felt like she was still likely alive and, likely was able to get up. But I see this nurse is kind of telling a different story, like that was the start of the decline. And I can't say that that doesn't make sense when I think of the timelines. Because at first I was thinking the altercation happened the night before. After I watched video and things, and we saw the whole video, we got our first dead body or whatever it was that Khalil or whoever, Malik, whoever it was that was doing the video, we know that they were drinking, they were hanging out, they were having a good time. And that was on Friday. So when you look at the daylight of the video, that happened earlier in the day. I'm going to say anywhere between 8 and 11 o'clock. Anywhere between 8 and 11 o'clock. So ain't no telling how long this young lady was getting attacked, but anywhere from 8 and 11 based on that daylight time. So if that's the case, that could have been the start of the decline if the doctor or the coroner ended up labeling this young woman as dead at 3 o'clock, 15 minutes after said incident took place. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Hung over and she sat up like that. That was no signs of life. When she fell, if you look at the video, you can see when the back was broken, because it's a certain way a paralyzed body can lay. If your body is not paralyzed, there's certain positions you just can't naturally go in. When she first was slung over and she sat up like that, that was just, her neck was broke at that time. And that's why you can tell the people that's in there knew something was wrong, because they were like, get up, like demanding for her to get up, because they knew she couldn't. She looked different and she didn't move after that. There's no breathing with a broken neck.
Well, that's interesting, and I want to look at this from two different ways, because the first way is very interesting. Here's why. Under Mexican law, if you kill somebody in a fight, the maximum amount that you can get is 12 years in prison. All right, that's the max. If you kill someone in a fight, the max you can get is 12 years in prison. But what's interesting about that? there is a law which gives an enhancement to the 12 years. And if you kill somebody in a fight, but you kill them by suffocation, then it goes from 30 years to 60 years. So if you kill them by poison or by other things, but one of the things is suffocation. So what you're saying, Natural Beauty, is, hey, you know, if she couldn't breathe, if she somehow suffocated, then that 12 years can get flipped from 12 years. Now we're talking about 30 to 60 years that you will never make it in a 30-year bid in a Mexican prison. Ever.
Okay. Listen, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But even with going with femicide, again, from what I've seen, it could be 45 to 65 years. So that's still even more than just flipping it from 12 to 30 to 60 years. You still could get more for femicide, which is why they are going for the max. Okay. This is some serious stuff. Okay. This is some serious stuff. Imagine going on a trip with your friends. Y'all done got out of line, resulted in somebody dying, and then y'all just come back to America like life is grand. I wonder how they're feeling knowing that, hey, you might be over here thinking that you a bit safe because you're not over there in Mexico, you out of the country, right? But you still can be charged, okay? You over there thinking you probably safe, but you could be charged. Okay, here in America, according to the attorney that we just listened to over on CNN, okay, you could they can take care of you over here, if not over there. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, and we have to make sure that we continue to press the issue so that we can get the justice that she deserves. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and get into the article that I came across, not the article, but the press release. Okay. This was a press release that was released by Mexico. And I kind of want to get into that. Okay. It says clarified foreign femicide occurred in San Jose del Cabo. Okay. This press release was released on November 24th of 2022. Now it was not in English, honey. I had to translate this. So let's hope that this good computer was able to translate things accurately, and we are going to get into the details. Okay, so they're saying the case of the femicide of a woman of foreign origin registered on October 29th in a beach club in San Jose del Cabo is clarified, said Deputy Prosecutor of Criminal Procedure South Zone Antonio Lopez Rodriguez, who revealed that an arrest warrant was obtained against the probable person responsible for these events. Okay. And you see, again, it just seems like it's one person at this particular time, just one. All right. They said with investigations carried out by the agent of the public prosecutor's office, experts, and criminal investigation agents, test data was obtained that make up the investigation folder and indicate that it was a direct attack. It was not an accident. So remember, we were looking over the documents, right? Or we were discussing the documents, the police report, the autopsy and things. And one of the questions was yes, right? The question was, well, the answer to the question was yes, but the question was accident or violent attack or something like that. It was like the cause of death. Was it an accident or was it violent? And they said yes. Now I started to think that it was both. I was thinking it was very much so violent. And I also think that it was likely done on accident because the person was expecting to harm her, but not expecting it to go as far as death, right? Well, they're saying that it was a direct attack and they're not looking at it like it was an accident, period. And, you know, I don't even fault them on that because you get into this, I can't even say a fight, but you get into this attack mode on a person. And as you're attacking them, you see they don't want to go at it with you. They're not trying to do that. Yet you continue to press the issue. You continue to come at them. You continue to physically harm them. At this point, it's not an accident. At this point, it's you knowing exactly what it is that you want to do. And you want to cause physical bodily harm to this person. And it resulted in somebody's death. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with. Like, it's just what it is. So I don't even fault them for being very clear that this was a direct attack and it was not an accident. Okay, so they go on to say the victim and a group of 6 friends arrived in San Jose del Cabo. I understand how y'all feel about the words friends. I know y'all don't want to label them as friends, okay, but this is just how the document is, okay? Most of the news outlets are listing them as friends, okay? Or you could say associates, right? Or whatever you like to name them, okay? So they're saying the victim and a group of 6 friends arrived in San Jose del Cabo on October 28th from the United States to vacation to a village in that town, with the fatal result that apparently caused one of the friends in grievance of the young woman, okay? Let me read that again. The victim and a group of friends arrived in San Jose del Cabo on October 28th from the United States to vacation to a village in that town, with the fatal result that apparently caused one of the friends in grievance of the young woman. Okay. Now they say Lopez Rodriguez indicated that after obtaining the judicial order issued by a control judge against the accused, the appropriate procedures are carried out with the Attorney General's office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so that the procedures for the extradition of the accused for the crime of femicide can be carried out. So when I see this in connection to what Mr. Gerardo Zuniga said, I feel like Interpol got the documents. I know he said once they get into Interpol, they'll be able to be released. We'll be able to find out all the information and what's going on. But they got the documents, and I feel like they keeping stuff nipped tucked tight until they snatch up who they're looking to snatch up. Okay, until that person is back on Mexico soil and they're able to move forward with the process of charging them and whatever else is going to be next, and whoever else is going to follow slowly after that. So then now I have a question, right? My question is it likely and is it possible, if Mexico is only going after the direct aggressor and just that person alone, no matter how they try to flip it to get a lesser sentence, if they only go after that one person, is it possible for the FBI to do their own investigation? And upon their investigation, could they likely charge the other individuals that were present at time of said attack? Could they charge them here in America for, like, guilty by association or not preventing fight, accessory to a crime or something? Because, there were 2 people recording, at least that we know of. The person to the left of the individual telling Shanquella to at least fight. We don't know what kind of camera they had or whether they were recording at all or what. But still, they watched the crime. They didn't stop it. This was an intimate setting. It's not like it was just a situation that happened on the street and there were onlookers. These were people that knew each other, came together, and nobody prevented anything from stopping. Or preventing anything from happening. So that's my question. Is it likely that this one direct individual could be charged over in Mexico, and then the other individuals likely charged here in America for being an accessory to a crime or whatever? That's my question. I don't know if anybody else ever asked that question, but any attorneys that's watching, the video, definitely hop down in the comments and share your perspective and your thoughts when it comes to that question. It may not be likely at all right? It may not make any sense or be likely at all, and I definitely understand that. It just, came to my mind at this time, okay? So just let me know your thoughts down below, but let's go ahead and keep going, all right? So they said Lopez Rodriguez indicated that after obtaining the judicial order issued by a control judge against the accused, the appropriate procedures are carried out with the Attorney General's office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so that the procedures for the extradition of the accused for the crime of femicide are carried out. All right. So I feel like Interpol got what they need. Okay, arrest warrant has been issued. Here's the documents. You needed that. You needed this. Here you go. Bring us our person back and be pronto. All right. Now it goes on to say the deputy prosecutor of Southern Zone Criminal Procedures stressed that in the first instance, the investigation was strengthened about who presumably physically assaulted the victim. So it seems like they're very clear. They stressed that in the investigation, it was strengthened about who the person that physically attacked this woman was. They were very clear about that. According to, Gerardo, he's saying that they have the second video. I don't doubt that they have the second video first, and if there's any more, I'm sure they have it. My thing was just really questioning what was in the video. That's the part that I'm not sure about, based on how the police was a part of the report, and the things in the report didn't make sense. There was a police report, but the things in it didn't make sense. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, the investigators strength. Okay, so they kind of know who they're going for. All right. So then they say, however, the Attorney General's office of the state of Baja California Sur maintains investigations for everything that results, such as participation in some cover-up. And when they say that, I feel like, again, just like what Mr. Gerardo said, they're investigating the doctor, they're investigating the police because they put some reports out that's not matching what the death certificate and things are saying. So y'all gonna have to clear that up. Are y'all trying to cover up some stuff to make y'all image look good so people can continue to travel here or something? What's going on with that? And then they also go on to say, such as participation in some cover up or some omission that has been made to avoid the damage that was being caused to the victim. Wow. Child, they coming for all y'all, girl. That's the short answer. So friends also, not just the police report, not just the police folks, the doctor, friends, if y'all knew what happened and y'all tried to cover this up or omit information by just saying that it was just alcohol poisoning or whatever you was trying to get at, they on your heads. Okay. So they come in for everybody, and I feel like they're gonna start with Miss whoever the woman is that they're gonna be pulling into question, and then they probably gonna trickle on down and try to get to y'all too. But should they not, I wonder, again, going back to my other question, could they likely see charges or anything like that here in America? And I also wonder how long. I'm wondering. I mean, obviously Mexico has first dibs, but it's like, God forbid it's 3 months from now, right? And they still haven't gotten the person that they put a warrant out for. I guess the FBI is going to go hand in hand. I guess if Mexico asks, and I'm sure Interpol, that's the whole point of them being the liaison. So obviously the FBI would have to be on the lookout too to be able to, capture this young lady and take her back, or him, whoever's they gonna. I think it's a woman, so we're just gonna go with that. Okay. Take this young woman back over to Mexico and move forward. I just hope it don't take a whole 3 months, a whole quarter. Like, I just hope it doesn't take that long. Okay. I would like to see some movement. I feel like we've been moving. Okay. Since I've heard about this story, things have picked up, right? Things are moving. So I'm hoping that in the coming weeks, we learn that, hey, an arrest has truly been made and this is official this time. Okay. It's not some fluff that just ABC trying to put out there on their channel and they still got it up over there on their channel. Okay. Now, do y'all know something that we don't know and y'all just waiting to put it out? I don't know. But these are just my thoughts at this time. Okay. I just wanted to come to you guys and just have a quick conversation with you guys about Shanquella, keeping the conversation going. The family is still awaiting justice. Her mother just can't wait. I mean, we're moving, as I've told you guys, with the arrest warrant. So let's hope that we can, narrow this down and get some justice. Okay. So I just wanted to bring this story to you guys. I want you guys to hop down in the comments. I want you to share your thoughts. Let me know everything that's on your mind regarding this particular case here. I'm Jamie. That's me. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have yet to do so, feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie. That's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.